I was popping. You know, we talking about overtime, mob story. You know what I'm saying? Came home from work, literally, in a 14-minute video. It took me an hour to record it, edit it, and put it up. That's how crazy that, but that's how dedicated it is. Let's get down to business. I don't got time telling you sob stories. Boo hoo, Rich. You know what I'm saying? Bonanno associate faces 40 years of selling 40,000 worth of cocaine. Details, schnills, bing bing, nose candy, instant excitement, like I used to like to call it. You know what I'm saying? But that's a different time and a different story. Bonanno family associate Salvatore Russo, 46, copped a plea Thursday for using a Manhattan gelato shop to sell narcotics and face up to 40 years in prison and a $5 million fine. He pled guilty to distributing more than 500 grams, about 40,000 worth of coke bagged up. Under the terms of his deal, Brooklyn federal prosecutors will serve a mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years, which he can appeal if he gets slapped with more time. He accepted his responsibility and hopes for the best. Defense lawyer Joseph Conway said outside of court, the beefy wise guy is reportedly a naturalized U.S. citizen who speaks with a Sicilian accent. Gangster. He remains free on $500,000 bond pending his unscheduled sentencing. He was busted last year in a coordinated cross-border crackdown on mobsters operating in both the U.S. and Canada. And salute to my people Michael S. and my man Montreal Paul. Gentlemen, always, you know what it is, respect. He was indicted with reputed acting Bonanno captain Damiano Zumo, who was caught participating in the 2015 mafia induction ceremony in Canada that was secretly recorded. Also indicted with Russo and Zuma were Gambino wise guy Paul Simplice and Paul Ragusa, who had been described as an associate of both the Bonanno and Gambino crime families. He's an associate of ours, you know what I'm saying? During the 2015 ceremony, Zuma introduced the to be inductee who is wearing the wire as a friend of ours with Bonanno. Zumo and Russo were both accused of selling almost 40,000 worth of cocaine inside the Manhattan Gelato parlor, which hasn't been identified as per reports. Acting Brooklyn U.S. Attorney Bridget Road called the secret recording an extraordinary achievement for law enforcement and deals a significant blow to La Cosa Nostra. The four also face charges connected to loan sharking and weapons possession. Last March, Simplice was sentenced to 28 months in prison by United States Judge Pamela K. Chen at the federal court in Brooklyn. He was sentenced for conducting a loan sharking scheme involving annual interest rates as high as 54%. Semplice targeted victims desperate for loans and used his status as a mafia soldier to make sure they paid the exorbitant interest rate. Me get 54%. With today's sentence, the defendant will pay for his crimes in prison. Donahue, which is Richard P. Donahue, the United States Attorney for the Eastern District of New York, thanked the FBI and NYPD for their work on this case. Prosecutors charged that Simplice, a longtime main member of the Gambino crime family, engaged in a conspiracy with others to make extortionate loans to multiple victims. During one recorded conversation with a cooperating witness, Simplice boasted that he had a very special relationship, like brothers, with a captain in the family and answered to nobody but him. In November 2017, Simplice and Damiano Zumo, an acting captain in the Bonanno crime family, Salvatore Russo, an associate of the Bonanno crime family, and Paul Ragusa, an associate of the Bonanno and Gambino crime families, were arrested and charged with narcotics, trafficking, loan sharking, and firearms offenses. Also, as part of the coordinated operation, Canadian law enforcement authorities arrested 9 organized crime members and associates in Canada, including members of the Tadaro organized crime family, who were charged with, among other crimes, narcotics trafficking. The coordinated investigation lasted more than 2 years and revealed criminal activity spanning the United States and Canada. As detailed in court filings in 2015, one of the defendants sponsored a confidential informant, to become a full-fledged member of the Bonanno crime family, and as part of the investigations, law enforcement secretly video and audio recorded the induction ceremony, which occurred in Canada. We've talked about this. As detailed in the indictment and other court filings, Zumo, an active captain in the Bonanno crime family, engaged in a cocaine trafficking conspiracy with Bonanno associate Salvatore Russo and others introduced by the confidential informant. In one transaction on September 14, 2017, Zumo and Russo sold over a kilogram of coke inside a Manhattan gelato store. Zumo was also charged with laundering over $250,000 in cash by providing business checks issued by a fake consulting company that purported to bill the company for consulting services. Zumo took a fee of approximately 10% for each money laundering transaction. As also detailed in the indictments and other court filings, Semplice, a member of the Gambino crime family, is charged with conducting a loan sharking scheme in which he and others extended extortionate loans with interest rates up to 54% a year. The alleged scheme generated thousands of dollars per week for Simplice and others. Paul Ragusa, a long-standing associate of the Bonanno and Gambino organized crime families, is charged with being a felon in possession of 9 firearms, including 3 automatic assault rifles and 1 silencer. As alleged, Ragusa transported the firearms in exchange for $2,000 in cash. In 1989, Joseph Todaro Sr. and Joseph Todaro Jr. were named as suspected leaders of the 45-member Buffalo Mafia family. Ron Blue Label Media Stand Up, Buffalo Stand Up. Various other investigative sources of the FBI, New York State Police, and Buffalo Police Department have confirmed this information as to criminal activity, according to the statement by Special Agent Dean Nom, a veteran agent with expertise in gambling and organized investigations. His 53-page statement, which was made public several months prior as part of a state Supreme Court gambling case, named suspected leaders of the mafia and supplied some detail about their alleged activities. It named Joseph Todaro Jr. of Amherst as head of a local crime family, which he was running for his father, who was at the time described as semi-retired and spending a good part of the year in Florida. Laborers Local 210 official Leonard F. Falzone was running a local loan sharking operation for the Todaro crime family, and Victor and Daniel Sanisi, 2 other local 210 officials who are brothers, were accused of controlling bookmaking for the Todaros. Based on Special Agent Dean Nom, a veteran agent with expertise in gambling and organized crime investigation, Justice Frederick M. Marshall approved the eavesdropping warrant on May 13, 1988. Spano 36 and 14 other suspects were subsequently indicted in October and are facing gambling charges in connection with Operation Bugas, Bugas, a year-long investigation conducted by the FBI, the Erie County District Attorney's Office, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the State Police, Buffalo Police, and other law enforcement agencies. Mink, it's a fucking party of pigs. Spano, manager of the Washington Square Bar at 295 Washington Street, is identified in Nom's statement as the leader of the gambling ring. But the ring, according to Nom, answers to Joseph Todaro Jr. Nom attributes his information to an unnamed confidential source or informant referred to in court papers as CS1. Spano has also informed CS1 that he himself is a subordinate in the criminal enterprise headed by Joseph Todaro Jr. Jesus. Spano has specifically told CS1 that he answers to Joseph Todaro Jr. and that Todaro has authority over his illegal bookmaking activities. Spano has further informed CS1 that he himself is in proposed status as an official member in La Cosa Nostra. 1 month prior, the Buffalo News reported that the union-owned car driven by Falzone was bugged with an FBI listening device for 6 months in 1988. Traditionally, La Cosa Nostra is a very secretive organization. The people at the upper echelons insulate themselves while the street soldiers do the work. Because of the pyramid structure of organized crime, it's very difficult to prove direct contact, but we have a number of ongoing investigations which are targeting La Cosa Nostra operations in the area. The money from gambling and loan sharking are the glue that holds the mob together, Webb said. They are the biggest revenue producers for the mob. The funds were then used in other criminal activities and eventually to infiltrate the legitimate business community, said. In 1987, Capo Falzone was promoted to consigliere, helping advise to Tadaros in the day-to-day running of the crime family, and was later being convicted of running a loan sharking operation with the help of top Buffalo Key Bank executives in 1996. Tadaro Jr. helped maintain the crime family's labor and union operations in the Buffalo area through the influence he carried in Local 210. The Buffalo crime family began to reach what was believed to have been the end of the line by 1995 when the Justice Department launched a major RICO case that included the LIUNA executives with alleged crime family ties. 8 Buffalo crime family members were removed from the executive board in Local 210 in 1996, including Tadaro Jr. and Falzone. Tadaro died on December 26, 2012, at the age of 89, following a lengthy illness. The Buffalo crime family has historical ties to the Bonanno family and its Montreal faction during the Stefano Magaddino era and allegedly throughout the 1980s and 1990s. Reportedly, the crime family was believed to have lost ground to narcotics trafficking by black and Hispanic groups that moved into predominantly black East Side and Hispanic West Side. All right, another great article. Salute to everybody. Have a good evening. Stay tuned for tomorrow night. More mob stories.